There's something very wrong with the title of this show, and I will tell you what that is. So I watched the second episode of the Red Band Society, and I have some thoughts on it. First and foremost, biggest problem, and I don't know why it didn't cross my mind the first time. The whole basis of the show is the trading of these red bands. There are two problems with this trading of the red bands. A, that red bands are allergy bands, always, and like in most hospitals, red signifies the allergy band. So it wouldn't have your personal information on it, it would just have like an antibiotic name. Second of all, and this is the biggest problem with the entire show, it makes no sense that a patient could ever legally or technically wear another patient's medical ID band on their wrist that has the other patient's medical and personal information on their arm. Do you know how confusing that would be for the nurses? Like, what if they go in to like give you an antibiotic and they scan the wrong band? Like, you would be wearing your band and then this other person's band, and then they scan the other person's band, and like that goes into the system, and then they start giving you an antibiotic that you're like allergic to. This is totally a legit problem. How is nobody thinking about this? I'm sorry. I'm done. So Dash has cystic fibrosis, which is what I have. And when you are physically exerting yourself, you cough a lot. You're panting a lot. He doesn't show any signs ever of being sick, which is a little strange. Second of all, he doesn't have an IV in, which if you are a CFer, and a lot of people don't know this, but if you have cystic fibrosis, and you're in the hospital for a good, for what we call a tune-up, you have IV antibiotics going on, and they keep you in for 2 weeks so that you can finish the whole course of the antibiotics. And that's pretty much the only reason CFers are ever in. They don't want to just throw kids with cystic fibrosis in the hospital because we have low immune systems. So we'd be getting infections from all the other kids and giving infections. So why does Dash not have an IV ever in this entire show? Okay, there's a kid, and I can't remember his name right now, who's about to get his leg taken off, and he was going in for the surgery, and I remember it was really interesting the way that they did it. They had where they put the mask on, the usual scene of like the mask, and then it cuts to the light, and you see the light start to blur as the person starts to fade. But the anesthesiologist, the person who's about to put him under surgery, asks him to think of a really nice memory, and that will help him through the process of going to sleep. I thought that was an interesting little tidbit that they put in, because a lot of the times anesthesiologists will try and make you come up with a memory or something comforting, because it's very terrifying when you feel your mind slipping away. And I was actually watching the show and slightly getting panicked, like my heart rate got a little weird, and because I've had so many surgeries, I know exactly what that position feels like and what it feels like to go under surgery, that I was like, oh, it's gonna start happening, I'm gonna start going under, and then I'm like, this is a show, Claire, you're not going under surgery. Overall, I thought it was a good episode. It was cute. You had bonding between the characters and setting up a little bit more dynamic of the hospital life. But to be honest with you, the thing that still stands out to me the most is the really little things in this show that they have. Like, there'll be a scene of something going on in the hospital room, and then in the hallway you'll see the nurses like talking to another patient and making a gurney and doing all this really silly like little stuff on the side, the details, that is very real in hospital life. There's always so much going on in a hospital, and everyone's just running about, and there's side stories going on, and so I think that they really portray that well in the show. And it was a good episode. I'm really excited to see what happens next. Let me know what you all thought of the show and this episode. Leave your comments down below. If there's anything that stands out to you as maybe not being accurate, let me know and I can clear things up for you. And please make sure to subscribe.